All right, good morning, team. Thank you for joining us today. Today we have a guest of Jamie's on the call, Brandie Mathison-Klein from the Claremont, Orlando area, one of the top agents over there. So I know Jamie and her used to work together when Jamie worked over in that area also. So I'm just going to hand the call over to Jamie, and you guys take it away.
Hey, good morning, Brandie. I can't see your video. I don't know why this happens.
She's on there.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, good morning. I'm excited.
Good morning.
You're on this call. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I was talking to Rich Carpentieri, and of course he speaks so highly of you, and I can see why. So I wanted just to read a little bit about Brandie before we get started, and then we've got some questions. I've got a couple questions I'm going to ask her, and then we're going to open it up to the agents. But anyway, she and her husband, Dave, have been in real estate for 18 years, and they've grown their team over the years. They serve the Claremont and Orlando areas. In 2019, her team closed 192 units and 58 million in volume. Her listings average 34 days on the market and sold on average for 99% of list prices. So just wow, super, super impressed with that. And then Brandie's a proud veteran of the United States Air Force. So thank you for your service. And is an ICF certified business coach and former business coach. And she and Dave enjoy spending time with their 4 young adult children, traveling, staying actively involved in their church and local outreach efforts in the community. So we're very excited to have you on. And is there anything you wanted to share about yourself that maybe I didn't mention, or what really drove you into real estate as far as your passion for real estate?
To be totally honest with you, I kind of fell into real estate. And so it was one of those opportunities that came about that real estate had never even entered into my mind. And so I said, well, I'll give it a try. And here I am 18 years later, still strumming along. I will say that, you know, how we do lean very heavily on like the disc profile. And so I do not fit the quote unquote profile of what would be a successful agent. When I first got started in real estate, my broker said, I really should not be hiring you because you don't fit the mold of what a successful agent will be. And it really actually stuck a fire under my wings and helped me to prove them wrong on that.
Wow, I love that. Can I ask what did you profile out? What did you profile?
I am a very high CS.
Wow.
So I make a really great administrator, and on the KPA, I actually make a really good ISA.
That's amazing. Well, you proved them wrong. That's for sure. The first question that I have for you is, how are you leading your team right now through all of this?
Wow. So, you know, obviously with everything that's going on, there's just a lot of uncertainty. And so when all of this started, I really just kind of sat down with my team and I was very transparent. And I gave them, you know, my vision of where I wanted to take our team through this, not knowing, you know, what, none of us have a crystal ball to be able to tell. But what I did know is that I needed to increase the standards and the expectations on the team. And so I really just laid that out there, meant, you know, doubling our lead generation time, and then also doubling our training and education, forcing us into being, you know, virtual for pretty much everything. We had to really pivot and, you know, train up a lot of our agents and our staff on how to, you know, do virtual meetings and different things like that. So, but really just being transparent, also being able to meet with them each individually every week just to touch base. I don't know about you guys, but for me, you know, I'm usually a very optimistic person all the time. I look at the glass of milk as half full instead of half empty. And, you know, going through this week after week after week, I personally have found myself struggling. It's kind of like a roller coaster. And so I was thinking, if I'm feeling this way, my team members might also be feeling this way. And just being a little bit vulnerable and sharing how I am feeling, and not letting that dictate the way that the rest of my day or week is going to go. You can acknowledge those feelings, but also being able to know that you have a choice with those feelings, and you can choose to go down a negative route or a positive route and look at the opportunities.
Yeah, that's so good. I think it's good that you shared that, because just to pretend it's not happening is kind of crazy too, right? And denial. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. That's really great. What would you credit the secret to your success in business to?
I would credit the secret, really, it's not such a secret, but I would just say the consistency of doing things, right? They say that it's very easy to do the things that we know that we need to do, but it's also easier to not do those things. And so the consistency of doing lead generation, the consistency of inspecting what we expect. So being able to put in systems and models that have been effective, and then looking at that and say, okay, did that work? How can we improve that? So I would just say that the consistency of that, and really just focusing a lot on our customer service through our database.
Okay. And I know the markets are very different. So as far as Claremont, you're in the Claremont area. Do you work, but you work Orlando as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as far as
we're about 20 minutes away from Disney World. So yeah. We've got, we're about 20 minutes from Disney, and about 25 minutes away from the Orlando area.
I just sent 2 agents there, so they're getting interviewed there today. So
awesome.
So I hope to meet you. Anyway, okay. So what are you doing for marketing right now?
So as far as marketing is concerned, what we've done is, just in the past year, we shifted quite a bit. So we used to be really big on the whole Zillow bandwagon, and I just could not morally continue to do that. So we stopped our Zillow marketing. So we do primarily we do social media marketing through Facebook, and then we also do YouTube marketing as well through value add videos, which I think has been really effective, because not only can we use those to get out through YouTube, but we also are then able to use those videos through like our drip campaigns and different things like that. We also have our, I know there's a 33 touch. We actually do a 63 touch through our database. So that includes really just a lot of email correspondence. We also do like door-to-door, like postcard correspondence. And then we also do quarterly check-ins, and then we do our customer appreciation events. We do 2 of those a year. And then we also have a farm area that we do to 2,000 homes.
Okay, awesome. That's amazing. Do you use Command on a high level?
We are transitioning over to Command at a high level. So we've gotten the majority of our database switched over. We're also starting to use some of the marketing and design aspects through that. Personally, from the team aspect of things, there's still some logistical things that we're trying to work out from that standpoint.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to ask a couple more, and then we're going to let Kira on and open it up to agents. But what does your team structure look like?
Okay, so so I just want to also note on this, through the vision speech that I did, and having one-on-one conversations with each one of my agents individually, finding out where they're at in things, we've had 3 of our team members basically self-eliminate and decide that the standards that I was implementing were not of which they were ready to commit to. So, which honestly was a blessing for them and a blessing for us. So, so we're already down 3 team members, but we've got 4 buyers agents, we've got 2 listing agents. We have 2 client experience managers, one for the listing side and one for the buyer side. So basically what they're doing is they're my listing manager and taking it from contract to close, and then also from the buy side. And that was really a new position that I started this year, and I gleaned that from Gary Keller's mastermind that I went to in October. And he really talks about building a moat around your database. And the reason that I did that was because I really wanted to make sure that each one of our clients felt a strong connection to our team and walked away from the transaction just like totally blown away. And so we implemented that in January, and we've been getting really, really good feedback from that. And then my husband does a lot of the marketing, and then we have our executive admin who really oversees all of our administration side of things. And then we have a runner / photographer. So we brought our photographer in-house and trained her up on how to do all of that. So she's really out in the field pretty much every day.
Wow, amazing. And then what do you do to stay motivated?
Oh gosh. So for me, keeping in tune with my daily routine has been absolutely critical. So being able to wake up and still get in my exercise each morning. I start off with my devotion. Being able to journal has been extremely important, and finding some inspiration in the Word has been very good. I don't know for anybody else if they've found that, but really just staying into my rhythm and routine. There honestly have been days where I'm like, I don't feel like putting on any makeup, or I don't feel like, getting dressed. I just feel like being in my jammies. And there's been a couple days that I've done that, but on the majority of those days where I'm not feeling like I want to do that, I do it anyways, staying into that consistent rhythm and flow, and also being able to goal set and say, okay, what do I want to accomplish today, this week, this month? And, my husband and I have also started planning like our next little getaway, like, okay, let's plan our post COVID-19 getaway. And just being able to dream build has been, it's caused me to be positive.
That's really good. That's really, really good. Kieran, do you have any questions?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch.
Okay.
I've been taking notes. Hey, Brandie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So a couple things I wanted to ask you about before we open up to the agents. So two things that stood out to me that you were talking about with Jamie was, first off, you mentioned about a year ago you cut out the Zillow leads, right? And for whatever reason it sounds like you had a realization that, paying our competitor probably wasn't the best idea. But it also probably eliminated a lot of expenses from your business, which is a mode a lot of us are and should be in right now, right? As we're going through a shift, we need to be looking at cutting costs.
Yes.
So can you just talk about when you eliminated the expense of Zillow, it doesn't look like it slowed down your business at all. It doesn't look like it hurt your business at all. Were you able to move that to the bottom line? Were you able to reinvest that into areas of your business that provided a bigger return? What did you do when you made that decision?
We did. We basically reallocated a good portion of those funds. Obviously too, with everything shifting right now, we've also pivoted our marketing budget. And, one thing I would caution is that you stay within the model. So we've always stayed within the MRA model as far as what our marketing budget is. And so how we reallocated that was we really emphasized more on the social media side of things. And that was something that we were not doing before. And so we're actually able to get a lot more leads by doing the social media route.
Do you have any idea what the return is on the social media versus what you were spending on Zillow, or you just know that it was higher?
Well, I know that with Zillow was kind of two-pronged in the sense. So we were not making any return on our investment for the Zillow. And so it was really just like a flat, we were making our money of what we were spending, but we weren't making a profit from that. And then, so with the social media, we would, I would say we're getting probably about 5%. When I say 5% or 5 times,
right,
return.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know, like you said, with the MREA, we should be looking for at least a 4-time return on lead generation money we're spending. So
Right.
you're spending money on Zillow or whatever, and you're just paying for that cost. Well, we're not a nonprofit business, so that's good.
Exactly.
The second thing you had mentioned was you had some members of your team self-eliminate because of you set some expectations for, hey, I'm on this journey and I want you to come with me. And here's what we all have to do to row the boat in the same direction. And what I've seen is a lot of the teams that have those expectations and adhere to them and hold their people to them, those minimum expectations that the teams have really should be the minimum expectations any agent has for themselves in their business, especially right now with everything that's going on, if they want to, thrive through the shift and be successful. Can you kind of detail for us what some of those expectations are? Because there's a lot of single agents out there who don't have the benefit of having an awesome rainmaker like you, helping them figure out what should my day look like? What should my activities look like? What are the expectations I should be holding myself accountable to? But I'm guessing the expectations you have for the agents on your team are really the things that they should be focused on every day.
Yeah. And, the thing that we have to take a look at and realize is that the number of people that we were talking to before all of this started happening, if that was giving you the results that you wanted or desired, that's great. However, moving into this, you are probably going to need to talk to 2, 3, maybe even 4 times as many people to still get the same results. And so that was one of the biggest standards that I put into place. Before we were doing our, team lead generation together 2 times a week for 3 hours. And now we're doing it 4 days a week, but we're still having to report our numbers every single day. So just because we're not coming together as a team and lead generating as a team, it's still expected for them to lead generate every single day. And my goal was to be able to contact every single person in our database and for our agents to contact all of their sphere within a 3-week period of time. So that was one of the biggest, changes as far as the standards and expectations were concerned. And then also just the training parts of it. I feel like, and I realize that even today, and I don't know about you guys, but you get all these emails of influxes coming in of like, oh, COVID-19 training or coronavirus training. And it can be a little bit overwhelming. Identifying what is going to move you forward in your business, and also being able to look at what is the strategy that I'm going to take from this? What is the opportunity that I'm going to take for this? And then go in that direction. If you just kind of pepper it with a little bit of everything, you might not get very far. But if you really hyper focus on that one thing, like I'm going to lead generate, it makes it nice and easy for that one focus that you have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And, I had some more stuff, but I know we've only got about 8 minutes left. So I did want to open it up to the group in case anybody out there had any light bulb moments while you were talking or had any questions they wanted to throw out there. So guys, just unmute yourselves if you do have a question.
Hey, Brandie.
Yes.
Tim Corcoran, how are you?
Good. How are you, Tim?
Good. So you said you're doing some Facebook advertising to replace Zillow. Have you done it through Command yet, or are you just doing right through Facebook?
So we actually have, we hired like a third-party person to do it. And also in the meantime, I'm also doing my own reconnaissance research to figure out if it's something that we can really bring in-house. So I have not tried a lot of my social media marketing through Command, primarily because we are still using our other CRM for leads to be able to come in.
Gary, you got a question?
Yes, Brandie, Gary Turner here. I have a question about your team. Being that you have lost some team members, I'm interested in knowing, are you actively trying to recruit new team members to replace the ones that took a break or took off, or were you before, or were you after the shift actually trying to add people to your team? Just what's that like on the front end?
Yeah, so ironically, we had just brought on 2 new buyer's agents the week before everyone went into quarantine. So we are currently in the process right now. So one of those buyer's agents was working at Disney, and they were transitioning over, and they called and said, I don't think this is going to be a good time for me. And I said, that's no problem. He said, let's just kind of see where everything goes. So that agent decided to put things on hold as far as jumping into real estate. The other agent, you know, we've been working full time on getting them onboarded to be able to take the bull by the horns and get things rocking and rolling.
Thank you.
No problem.
Brandie, good morning. This is Terry Brown.
Hi, Terry.
Hi. Listen, I'm glad that Kieran touched on people being sole practitioners, because that's what I have been for over 25 years. And you know, I guess other than lead generating, which is really should be part of a better part of my day. What other things as a sole practitioner would you suggest? Where's the priority after lead gen? What would your day look like if you were sole practitioner?
Well, I definitely think that it's important to always keep an eye on your numbers. If you have not already gone through your budget, I would definitely recommend going through your budget. You know, every single month we've gone through our budget, and we've cut at least 20% of our expenses. We've done like contingency plans. So if we don't have X amount of dollars in the bank and in pending production, then we're moving to the second contingency or the third contingency. So definitely keeping an eye on your numbers and knowing what your business looks like, I think, is vitally important. And, you know, I know I keep coming back to the database aspect of things, but have you gone through your entire database? Have you talked to them and really identified, you know, if they have any needs and different things like that? And then third is, what other systems do you have that you may want to put in place? You know, I just discovered a really cool tool, and I'm trying to even remember what the name of it is. Let me see if I can. So one of the things that I thought was really cool, and you guys might already know about this, but there's a program called Screencastify. And so what I was doing while I was training one of our new agents, he said, well, what if we do this Screencastify, and you kind of walk me through the process, and we can record it, and then I can, you know, watch it over and over again. So for any of you guys that are either growing your business, have a team, might have the idea of having any kind of help, whether it be virtual, in-house, other agents, whatever, I feel like that's a really good tool to be able to do how-to tutorial videos, and then you can just upload them to YouTube and keep them as an unlisted video. But it's really, really awesome, because as you're going through your day-to-day activities, you just hit record and you talk through the process of what you're doing. So then when you do hire on new talent, then you can already have a video library of everything that you do, and it would definitely save a lot of time in the training process.
That's a very, very thoughtful approach. I like that. I like the sound of that. Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
No problem.
So I had another question, Brandie. I just pulled up some of your numbers while I was sitting here listening to Terry and Gary, and looks like last year about 57% of your business was listings, which is awesome. Are you guys doing anything as you move through the shift and into the shift around ramping up on listings, or what are you doing?
Absolutely.
What are you doing to dig your heels in on that listing side of the business? Because we know it's so important during the shift. What are you doing differently around capturing new listing business?
So are you guys qualified for Keller Offers where you guys are at?
We have the training just got released to our market, and then sometime in the next couple months they're going to be expanding down here, but our agents
we actually have the zip codes now, Kieran. We are all open.
Yeah, Northern Manatee does, but Sarasota I don't think does yet.
Okay. So if you guys qualify for killer offers, I would definitely strongly recommend that you guys go through the training for that. That's where the majority of our marketing is gearing towards, because it gets you in front of a lot more people. And they say that their statistics are showing that 9 out of 10 people will not take the killer offer, but they'll just go ahead and list it with you. And so if you really think about it, the whole tale, like you have to list to last. And for every listing that you get, you should be able to easily get 2 to 3 more sales from that listing, because you're listing the property. That's a sale in itself. You have the opportunity to bring a buyer or get other buyers that are calling in. And if that seller needs to then turn around and buy something, then you have another sale with that. So it's going to bring you more business. And so that's where we focus. 90% of our marketing is on the listing side of things.
So I know myself and some of our leadership team and a handful of our agents are familiar with Keller offers, but could you give us like the elevator pitch on that? Because I know the pushback I've gotten from agents when I've talked to some about it, well, they don't really understand the program, is like, well, why would I do that? I'm going to get less commission. But like you said, it's not about that. It's about getting in front of it.
It's the overall opportunity. And so, it's kind of like saying, well, why would I take a referral? Because I'm going to make less money. Well, you don't know. Perfect example. I had one client that was referred to me probably 10 years ago. It was like back in the other market crash. And so one of the agents had just moved out of the area, referred them to me. She said they want to buy an investment property. They called on this one. It was like, I don't know, $80,000. So I took them, sold them a house, ended up selling them over 20 different properties and properties that they held on to for investment. And then they sold them all. And so through that one referral that I took, that's just one example, of the continued return on that. And so with the Keller offers, is it fun to think that you're going to take a listing for 1% and then you're going to sell it for 1%? No. I look at it as the cost of doing business. And I look at it as, you going into a listing appointment, and whether you get the listing or not, you're going in there for the opportunity. So it might take a couple of hours of your time to go in and do the listing opportunity. If you get it and you take the listing, that's fantastic. If they say, no, I want to take the instant offer, at least you're getting some return on the time that you've just invested in there.
Right.
And you have to take a look at the increased opportunity that you're going to get. You're going to get to talk to a lot more people by being able to offer that program.
Yeah, and so just for clarity, everybody, Keller offers, for those of you who haven't gotten involved with it, is our iBuyer program. And I think it is a great opportunity to jump in as it moves to our area, because, well, Zillow has shut down their iBuyer program. And then the 2 other big players in the market have scaled way back. They've laid off, I think, 40 to 50% of their staff. So our iBuyer program is still growing strong and expanding. And to Brandie's point earlier, the iBuyer platform usually is only a fit for 5% of the sellers in the market. So that means, only about 5% of them are going to take that offer that gets presented through Keller offers. But if being involved in the program gets you in the door and gets you in front of them and gives you the opportunity, like Brandie said, well, that means the other 95% are going to list it traditionally. And then you have the opportunity to do that. So it's kind of, that's the name of the game there. So thank you for bringing that up. It's not something we've talked about a lot in our market, but I think it's going to be something that's, especially as we move into the shift, going to be a great tool for agents.
I had one lead that came in this weekend, and I spoke to the lady, and she had sent one property that she was interested in. And I said, okay, great. I said, well, we can definitely get this going for you. I said, are there any other properties that you have that you would like, that you're considering selling as well? And she's like, you know what? She's like, I do. I have 4 more properties. Can you go ahead and do those for me as well? So it went from having 1 opportunity to 5 opportunities, just by asking that one additional question.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I know we're a minute over, and I want to respect your time. Jamie, do you want to wrap this up? And
Yeah, sure. Wow, you did an amazing job. Thank you for all that information, Brandie.
I hope it was, I hope that everyone can get something of value. I know that your guys' time is precious and valuable. And so I appreciate the opportunity and time. And if ever you guys, do have questions that you want to ask, you guys are welcome to reach out to me. I always like to be able to help wherever I can.
Well, we really appreciate you and your time and very, very valuable information you shared today. So thank you very much. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Thank you. You guys too. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.